Love. Love is a very interesting thing. In fact, it's not a thing. And it's much talked about, but love is really interesting when it's lived. When you yourself become it, right? And that is possible. It's weird, maybe a little strange, but the thing is that you can have an emotional expression just as if you're only given one emotion, such as anger, you know, you are anger. And this is a bad thing. Much better to be loved than anger. Though, strangely enough, sometimes these two things, there are links between these. And the thing is, anger is not always negative, right? Anger is, okay? So, let it be, and let it be free. And that way you could be free of anger. Love, though. Love, seriously, maybe even highly understood, misunderstood. It's understood and misunderstood. It's understood in the way that, people definitely have compassion and friendliness oftentimes towards themselves, towards their kinships. And this is cool. This is cool. This is good. And this is love. This is one aspect to love. But love is deeper than that. Love is uncomfortable sometimes. Love is hard at other times. Sometimes it's hard loving the other person, if it is a person. Sometimes it's hard loving yourself, right? Sometimes it's hard loving at all because you're numb, or you're in pain, or you're in grief, or you're suffering, right? And many of us are suffering. But what's great is that love overcomes suffering, right? In the regard that, say that you love so deeply that you become the embodiment of love, right? The experience of this thing, right? Then guess what? It is perfectly natural for you to continually be helping all kinds of things, all kinds of people, all kinds of ideas. That's part of the nature of love. Love is relational. Love is relational, which is really interesting. It's one of the things about it. But love is also ambivalent and wide. Love is a manifestation of an experience that is greater than happiness, greater than joy. It isn't not aligned or aligned with contentment. It is actually a manifestation of itself, as a number of emotional experiences are. Right? They're actually being, right? That you could be that you could be jealousy, that you could be kindness, that you could be love, that you could be anger, that you could be all kinds of things. You could be hate, right? And hate, now that's, hate and anger have a relationship too, and it's very strong. Love also love is amazing in that it is kind of like water, in that it is like a universal solvent, okay? But it doesn't mean that if we're dealing with people, maybe the person can't accept love. I know that I've been there. I didn't know. I thought maybe kind of, and then I didn't accept it because I didn't understand it. At least that expression of it, right? And that can be incredibly complicated because there are so many expressions, and some of them are so very subtle. They're incredibly subtle that we just miss them. It's not in our experience, or we're so conditioned to not accept it, or we're so cynical because we're caught up in these pasts that aren't even they're written in your mind, but you know what? Today is now. Today is now, and what are we going to do? The future, I plan for it, right? So I'm making the future right now, right? We're making the future together. We're going to make this future, but I'm not anxious over it because it's the future. And certainly I'm planning, but I don't know if there is a tomorrow. right? Pretty sure the probabilities say that most likely we're going to make it tomorrow, most likely, until we get to a certain point in our life when it says the probability says I'm not going to be. And then every single day, every single second could be a gift or a punishment. How are you going to interpret it when you're at that point, right? I hope that I interpret it as a gift. I believe deeply in the Chinese philosophy that says, you know what? A long life is a blessing. And in fact, even though my life has been horrific at times, this existence that I have been given has been a blessing. I've had so many wonderful people in my life, wonderful people with wonderful ideas, wonderful expressions, wonderful imaginations, wonderful creativity, the ability to manifest and make giant robots, literally. And so many other things, beautiful expressions of software and philosophy and music. Wonderful people. And so, even though life is hard, life is wonderful. You know, when you go outside and you let the sun fall on your skin and you breathe in fresh air and you allow yourself to experience the world, you might be in a transcendent moment of love. You might be love in that moment, you know. And it's not about falseness, right? Because there's a lot of false happiness or comparative things. And you know what? There's no need for that. It doesn't necessarily help you, right? Where are you? Where are you right now? Where are your skills right now? Because you can do something about where you're at right now. Where other people are, you know, they've had a totally different set of conditions and experiences than you. So, love yourself even though, you know, maybe it's not perfect. Maybe it's not right. Maybe it's even awful. Maybe it's horrific. You can still find love, even in the horrors. And sometimes that makes your love more powerful. Because you know what? When your life is surrounded by horror and you resist with everything that you are to become love, it's impossible. They can't imagine. They can't imagine that out of that, you are still going to be for the benefit of people, for the benefit of wonder, for the benefit of kindness. You know, and so it's not just big deeds. You know, there are going to be love can so much be an action. Love is an action. Love is when people do small things for you, and they may not understand your love. They might not understand that, you know, you are working tirelessly, you know, so that you can produce something beautiful for yourself and for them. And they may not be able to appreciate that either at this time. And that's okay. You know what? There are so many things that just aren't going to go right. Okay? So many things that you want to be correct, or you want to be wonderful, or you want to be great. And they're going to fail. They're going to flop. They're just not going to work out exactly the way that you planned. And that doesn't mean you give up planning. It doesn't mean you give up loving. It doesn't mean you become hopeless, right? And sometimes hopelessness, the silence from the connection, you know, that's gift. Sometimes that allows you to reaffirm your connection. I just hope that doesn't last too long for you, because sometimes if the silence lasts too long for you, you become incredibly self-destructive. You become self-hating. You know, you start eating yourself, you know, your mind from the inside out. And I want you to grasp onto, you know, an experience of love or friendship or kindness or wonder or or joy or idea. And there are so many other things that you like, and it's not about replacing. It's not about being better than or being greater than. It's simply about the being. And I understand that, this is all so very abstract, right? But the thing is that when your parent, right, say your parents don't have much, right? If your parents have much, they're going to do other sorts of things. And maybe, them spending time with you is actually a great act of love because they have so much that they have to do. And they have so many people to worry about. If they're really cranking, that, yeah, they love you, yet they are so responsible for so many things, and people, that it might be hard to understand that, yes, they love you so dearly, but their love is so great that that their love can't simply be contained by just loving you or just loving your family, that they actually love in a much greater way, which is awesome. I applaud everyone whose love is so big that so many people they can't even understand exactly what that love is because they don't have it. And that's okay too. We're not all supposed to experience all the same things. We're not all supposed to be the same people. But I'll tell you that when your family is poor, or your family's just making it, you know what? When your parents come and they feed you at all, right? When they make sure that you're safe, they don't yell at you too much, they try to look out for your best interest. Maybe they don't say that they love you all the time, maybe they were never taught that. Maybe that's not something that they're actually quite capable of right now. Maybe they will be in the future. But the thing is that they love you so dearly. Whether their action is their love, okay? It's not a word to be overused or to be said in a meaningless way or a way that has no bearing. When you say I love you, and when you live I love you, that's an incredible feat. Live it. Be it. Thank you.